What's up, YouTube? Sorry about that. Still got this cough. However, tonight I made it to my dad's and grabbed the intake manifold and my heads from him because they're finished. He did a pretty good job on them. Pretty wild. It's a real nice port job on the heads and the intake. If you watch his channel, this was red earlier. I couldn't handle the red. I didn't even do a good job painting it. I just sprayed this thing. You can still see a little bit because I had tape overhanging. But I couldn't take the red. I couldn't even just stand looking at it. But did a pretty awesome job on this thing. There's a lot of work in this. So got that stuff. I also got ARP rocker arm studs, and I got the head bolts. ARP head bolts. I think they were under $60. Got a new oil pan gasket. Nothing too exciting. Now I did get head gaskets and I returned them. And I didn't even realize this. But I started looking at the box and I noticed they said 23 thousandths compressed. And then I noticed the bore size at 4155, non-SVO, meaning it's not for an SVO block. It'll fit a standard block. But then I started figuring some stuff out, and I was talking with my buddy, and he also made a good point. And 4155 bore, well, I have a 4-inch bore. It's not even 4030, not even 4010. It's a 4-inch standard bore 302. Theoretically, that compression is going to try to push into underneath the head, and it's almost going to act like a quench area. Now, it's not exactly the same thing, but it has a similar effect, and it's also going to be bad for detonation. It's going to want to try to lift the head up because you got compression being pounded in between the deck and the block. And it's wasted compression, essentially, because it can't go anywhere. It's just going in there, and then it's not doing anything. So I ordered a different set of gaskets. Now I told you guys I got 27 thousandths compressed in some of the other videos. That's what I thought I ordered. But me probably thinking, oh, 23 thousandths, I'll get those. And I didn't even pay attention to the bore size like an idiot. However, now I have 27 thousandths compressed head gaskets with a 30 over bore for the head gasket. So when you calculate some stuff, theoretically, it would be like adding compression into the engine, because now that space is a lot smaller for the compression. It's going to, even though it's still going to get under the deck surface slightly, it's not going to be as bad, and a gasket will trap it at 30 thousandths instead of 150 thousandths or whatever it was. 155, I can't remember. So I got those on the way. And it's just something that you can overlook really easy, like I did. So when they come in, I got a set on the wall that I'm going to use to figure some stuff out. I'm still waiting on the cam to come in and my cutters to come in, which I got to show you guys when they do come in. So still got a little while before all that. I got to remeasure push rod length. I think it's going to end up being the same length. However, I just want to check it to make sure the cam's not ground on a different base circle to the point where I need a different length push rod. So, excuse me. So when the cam comes in, throw the heads on. This time I'll probably do it with a gasket. I didn't even realize I had the gaskets on the shelf. And I'll take another measurement of the push rods and figure that out again. And if I come up with the same length, which was 6150, then that's what it'll get. I was playing with the compression calculator again, and as long as everything works out, I think I'll be right at like 10 to 1. It's going to be borderline, anywhere from like 9.8 to 10, especially after I notch these pistons, because they're going to get some pretty deep cuts in them. So hopefully I don't bore through the piston. But if my calculations are correct, should be okay. We're going to find out. So I'm going to take the gamble. I'll do one cylinder, put it where I need it, and then see how it ends up. See if it ends up where I think. As long as I don't go through the top of the piston, it should be good. So hopefully the cam's here this week. I ordered it last week. I think it said it shipped out the other day. And then hopefully the tooling for me to notch the pistons comes in. And then the gaskets, hopefully, they're through Summit, so they should be here rather quickly. I sent the old ones back today. I got them today and sent them back today. And then put in for an exchange. They cost the same, so shouldn't really be no big thing. Let's see. Still need to order guide plates. So I'll order the guide plates and the push rods at the same time. So that way I have that stuff. It'll all come together. I feel like there's something else I need. I need a lot of stuff, but I can't think of what else. Oh, and the valve spring stuff. I'm waiting on Ed Curtis for the exhaust valves and the valve springs. He put an order in. So I'm just waiting on him to send me the, hey, this is how much it is shipped. And then I can order that stuff and get that stuff here. I'm going to try to lap the valves in and see the pattern. If the pattern, if I like it, I'll send it. If I don't like it, then I'll be sending them to a machine shop to have everything cut and put a new valve job on everything, which is the right way to really do it. I'm up in the air about having the heads flowed because I really rather see the engine get together faster. If the heads have to go to the machine shop for the valve job, then I will just tell them to flow them while they're there. And I'd also like to try to find an engine dyno where I can see how much horsepower this thing's going to make, just so you guys get an idea of what it turned into. That stuff, to me, it's cool to see, but as long as the car runs the number I want it to run, I could care less what it makes. If it makes 2 horsepower, or if it makes 500, 600, which it won't. But 500, if it makes 500 horse, then that would be pretty exciting. And I'd honestly be kind of impressed. 302 cubic inch engine, stock bottom end. Even though the heads and stuff are pretty aggressive, I mean, this thing's nothing. There's better stock bottom ends out there, So this thing really shouldn't make crazy power. But I gotta find a place with an engine dyno and see how much it costs and all that, because if my pocket can't afford it, then I'm not going to end up doing it. Although it would be neat to see what it can make. I think it will definitely be in the 400s. It's just how deep in the 400s is it going to get? So I'm a hopeful person. I shoot for the moon. I'd honestly love to see 5 out of it. But you're asking a lot at that point. 500 crank horse, even with aluminum heads, out of a stock bottom end 302, that's a lot. Especially with 30-year-old or 25-year-old technology. I mean, these heads, they're early Holley casting. Holley doesn't even make these heads anymore. The intake is a Torker 289. That thing's probably been around since the 60s or 70s, I'd imagine. So it's old school. The newest thing that's going to be in it is the trick flow cam, and they've even been around for 15 to 20 years. I guess about 20 years. Time goes by too fast. So, that being said, it's an old school setup. Everything in the engine's at least 20 years old technology-wise. There's nothing... I mean, maybe the carburetor, but even that, it's a 4-corner idle circuit, basic carburetor. It's just like a race carburetor. They've even been around for 20 years. It's nothing fancy. It's all old technology. So this thing makes anywhere near 500. I'd be pretty happy. If it makes over 400 wheel, then this thing is going to run pretty good. Which I could probably get the car on the dyno, because my good buddy Matt, he hooks me up. So he'll help me out and all that good stuff. So I'd be able to probably throw it on the dyno, play with it. Plus, he'd probably get a kick out of seeing what it makes. I should have did it before. I just never thought about it, really. But, I mean, it was probably like 150 wheel, So, if this thing could pick up 200 to 300 wheel horse off of 150, that would be pretty awesome. However, I don't think it's going to make 450 wheel, but I would be stoked if it made 400 wheel. To be honest, I'd be very content with that. Just because if it makes 400 wheel horsepower, it should go the times I want it to go. Should. It's not always the case. I see some people who make over 400 wheel and they don't go the times that they should go. So it goes both ways. Everything I usually put on the dyno usually reads like crap. but the time slip reads where I want it. So I'd rather have it that way every single time than have a high dyno number and the thing be a total disappointment and letdown. So hopefully this all works out in my favor. I know my dad really busted his butt on this stuff, so thank you. He got this stuff done fast. I don't even know if he had it for a full week. I don't think he did. I think I dropped it off Monday. Pretty sure it was Monday of this week. So it is now, it's Saturday because it's after 12 o'clock, but in the morning. But he had this stuff done by Friday. So he's a perfectionist, though, when it comes to trying to get stuff right. So it there's always more that can be done on my stuff. Sometimes I pump the brakes and tell him, nope, you're good. That's all I want. Just leave it. So there's probably still a bit more that can be done to these heads. Probably the intake too. But he said the intake was flowing some air through it. So it looked like I had some good airspeed. Same with the heads. So I'm going to take his word for it. I trust him. He hasn't steered me wrong with this stuff before. I learned a lot from him. But mostly the combination that's in the green Mustang is because of him. It was to prove a point. Like I told you guys before, that it wasn't just for me to prove a point, though. It was a point that he wanted to prove, but never got the chance to. So that's why that whole setup in that green car is the way it is. So there's a little, maybe a story for another time if you guys care to hear it. But however, Fairmont got some pretty good progress, I guess, going. Still got to put the rear main seal in. Still got to clean the timing cover up and paint that, put that on and seal all that up. Which now that I'm doing the cam, I'm glad that I didn't do that. Because it's the third camshaft that I'm pulling. Well, second cam. It's the second camshaft I put in that I'm pulling back out. So third camshaft that's coming out of the engine. The stock one, the Steeda, now the Lenati, and then the new one will be going in, which I'll show you guys the cam that I bought when it comes in. And that's pretty much going to sum this video up. So stay tuned. Show you guys some more goodies. Kind of went crazy. Probably shouldn't have, but I did. The budget's still not too far out of budget. Well, we haven't broke out of budget. I think the budget, I was up around $3,000 to $5,000 was my budget. So still under that. I think we're getting close to $3,000 into the whole car after all this. I got to do some adding and things, but yeah, I think we're pretty close to about 3 to 35 said and done at this point. So I still need a good amount of stuff. Like I said, the guide plates, the push rods, the spring kit, which the $3,000's counting the spring kit. Spark plug wires, stupid stuff like that, because I'm going to put new wires on it. Be using a 30 or 40-year-old distributor. Hopefully that's good. I got, I think, 2 of them out, so that way if I got to switch one, I can play with them. And worst case, I'll get a distributor if I have to, but for now I'm just going to try to get the car running with what I got. So we got a long ways till we get there, though. So that being said, stay tuned. Till next time, show you guys the other stuff I got. It's coming. And I'm really excited for them cutters, the tools I bought. So definitely stay tuned for that. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and catch you guys on the next one.